time for another episode of Stash or Trash, and today we will take a closer look at a clone of a fragrance that is really beautiful. I'm talking about Terre D'Hermes. And what's the name of the clone? You will find out next here on Nordic Fragrance. Hi, I'm Tommy and you are watching Nordic Fragrance. Welcome. It's time for Stash or Trash again, where we take a closer look at cheap and budget-friendly alternatives to more expensive and well-known fragrances. Today we have a clone or inspired expression of a fragrance called Terre D'Hermes. This fragrance is from the company Milton Lloyd and it's called Kudos for Men. First, let's start off by describing Terre D'Hermes a little, the original fragrance here. This is quite a simplistic fragrance actually. It's a vetiver and a little orange blossom in it. And it's a very elegant and beautiful and soft smell. It's a really good fragrance in my opinion. So let's see if Kudos for Men by Milton Lloyd is any good and can be compared to this fragrance. Let's start off by putting Terre D'Hermes on this hand here. Oh, it's a beautiful orange and vetiver. A really nice smell from this one. It's not so strong or aggressive, it's smooth and very elegant and very beautiful and nice. So let's see how Kudos smells then. It goes on the other hand. Here. Okay, so Kudos doesn't exactly smell like Terre D'Hermes, I must admit. It's pretty close, but it's not quite there. I would say it's about 85% there. It's missing a little of the orange blossom in it. The vetiver is there for sure, but not the orange blossom. It's a little hint of orange blossom, but not so much as in Terre D'Hermes. But just overall the first impression, it's actually quite good. So I have tested Kudos for Men for about a week now, alongside with Terre D'Hermes to see how they perform and how well they smell in the dry down. So Terre D'Hermes on my skin, I get about 6 hours out of it. It's a fresh fragrance, so it's pretty decent longevity on this one. Kudos by Milton Lloyd on the other hand, I get about 5 hours out of. So it's almost on par with Terre D'Hermes in longevity and performance. Almost there, but not quite. They do smell more alike in the dry down than they do in the beginning. However, Kudos is a little harsher, a little more aggressive and a little more intense. I like to think of this fragrance as an intense version of Terre D'Hermes. So if you have tried Terre D'Hermes and if you enjoy it but you think it's a little too soft and a little too smooth and want a little more aggressive and intense version of it, then Kudos for Men is perfect. As I mentioned before, they don't smell exactly alike, but they are similar enough so that Kudos can be considered a pretty decent clone of Terre D'Hermes anyway. So to sum this up, Kudos for Men by Milton Lloyd is a pretty decent alternative to Terre D'Hermes. The smell is not exactly on par with the original, but it's close enough. Performance is a little bit weaker than the original, but not much. So overall, just a pretty good copy of Terre D'Hermes. Personally, I do like to wear this fragrance myself, those times when I feel that Terre D'Hermes is a little too weak and a little too soft. Because this is a very nice fragrance, but it doesn't really project that much. It stays pretty close to the skin. Kudos for Men, however, have a little stronger projection, at least for the first 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. So Kudos for Men is almost a Terre D'Hermes intense, if there was such a thing on the market. So to me, this is definitely a stash-worthy fragrance that you could keep as an alternative to Terre D'Hermes. So Kudos for Men is in no way a perfect clone of this fragrance, and it's not the best clone I have in my collection, but it's good enough to be considered stash-worthy in my opinion. You do get a hint of the beautiful Terre D'Hermes, but if you really want to enjoy the original, then spend the extra money to buy it, because this isn't exactly the same. It's good, but it's not as good, smell-wise. So this was Kudos for Men by Milton Lloyd, another stash-worthy clone in the collection. A really good cheapie with decent performance as well. If you happen to run by this fragrance, don't hesitate to buy it. It's dirt cheap and it's a pretty decent clone of Terre D'Hermes. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Stash or Trash, Kudos by Milton Lloyd. If you want to support me and don't miss any future videos, please click the subscribe button. Until we meet again, take care, fragrance lovers.